Hey, it's Barb for Wonderful Works. And before we watch today's video, I want to tell you two important things about it. First, you may notice that it looks a little different from our latest training videos, and that's because it was one of our very first training videos that we ever made, way before we learned how to do animation. The other thing I want to tell you about is when you see the teacher in this video, I want you to know that I drew her to look like my 5th grade teacher, Ms. O, who is the person who always saw the best in each one of us. And all these years later, I still remember the way she made me feel, even when I wasn't behaving the way she may have wanted me to. So when you watch this, remember what you do matters for a child for their lifetime. Thanks for being here. Have you ever had one of those Sundays where you're excited to teach the lesson, you're ready with your craft kit, your best smile, and your mission to reach kids for Jesus, but then one child gets distracted and before you know it, the whole classroom's in chaos? Sometimes it just feels hopeless. But is it? When we're called to teach the gospel to kids, we're called to teach it to all kids, and kids aren't always easy. The truth is, all kids can get distracted, but some kids have a harder time than others. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, ADHD, is a disorder marked by an ongoing pattern of inattention and/or hyperactivity and impulsivity that interferes with functioning or development, and it's commonly diagnosed in childhood. So we all have an idea of what this looks like, but what does it feel like? Well, the answer to that is as varied as those who experience it. So let's ask a professional. Dr. Ned Hallowell, an expert in ADHD, describes it like this. ADHD feels like having a brain run by a Ferrari engine. It's supercharged, powerful, and really fast, but it also comes with bicycle brakes. The good news is there are many strategies that can be used to help kids with ADHD learn how to win the race. So what does this mean for you? Well, it means it's time to quit worrying about what the kids focus on and start choosing what you focus on instead. The first thing you want to do is make expectations clear. This means clearly lay out what positive choices look like, what are the rewards or the consequences of choosing a behavior, then break down directions into small steps. Children with ADHD often have a hard time remembering multi-step directions, which can result in getting off task. So instead, give instructions one step at a time, when they're ready. And then before moving to the next activity, give kids a warning that the transition is coming. No one likes to be moved too quickly. Children with ADHD often have an especially hard time with this, so tell them before an activity switches. Now our next point is my favorite, building from strengths. This is especially important because a lot of people who have ADHD have often been taught to focus on their weaknesses. In fact, many feel shame for being wired differently, and church is no place for shame. Church is a place where people should be celebrated for the unique gifts that God gave them, and this starts with you. So if you see a child's having trouble sitting still, channel that energy into something positive. Ask them to pass out papers, lead a prayer, or demonstrate one of the lessons. If they do need to sit still and are having trouble, offer a fidget. Most importantly, give praise for good choices and don't stop there. When their family comes to pick them up, praise them again. Parents need to hear this too. Now, before I leave you, I have a challenge for you. This week, sit down and think about your own personal strengths and weaknesses. Has there been anyone in your life who only focused on what you struggled with? How'd that make you feel? Now, has there been someone in your life who set you up for success and encouraged your strengths? I sure hope so. Think about how that person changed your life and how you can change the life of someone else. Never forget, each time God brings a child into your life, you get to choose who you will be to that child. Someone who points out every weakness or someone who chooses their strengths. Choose strengths. Thanks for joining us today. See you next time.